Hi, Kipsters. So today I'm going to model answering question number 3 from our exit ticket that we did on Monday from the history of the Underground Railroad and my escape from slavery. I noticed that we were having a hard time choosing our best answer, so I already crossed out C and D using my check mark boxes, but I left the best answer and the distractor there for us so we can determine the best answer together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to read my question and think, what is the question asking me? So it says, what does the second selection do that the first selection does not? So what I see is it says second selection. So it says, what does the second selection do? Which means what is happening in the second passage? Because remember, another word for selection is passage. That the first selection, which means the first passage, does not. So when I'm hearing that question, I think it's telling me, how is the second passage different from the first passage? So the next thing I ask myself is, what did I read? What is the difference between the first passage and the second passage? Well, if I look at the history of the Underground Railroad, I notice that it's giving me facts and information about the history of the Underground Railroad. It's telling me what it was. It tells me that it wasn't even a real railroad. It was to help people escape from slavery. And so when I think about this, I think the author's purpose was to give me facts and information and to inform me. Whereas the second passage, it says, my escape from slavery. And it says it was a dark night and the conductor came to get me. And my parents arranged for my escape. So I think that this is a story. This is someone giving me their personal experience or a first-hand account of what they went through when they went on the slavery. So I think the author's purpose was to entertain or to give me a personal experience of the Underground Railroad. So now that I know that, I also kind of just want to go back to my Venn diagram. And in my Venn diagram, it also tells me that the author is telling me information about the Underground Railroad and a history of Underground Railroad. It tells about how the railroad wasn't a real railroad, and it's a secondhand account. Remember, a secondhand account is when someone who wasn't there is writing about it to give facts and information. Then it says right here, the author is telling the story about being on the Underground Railroad. So this person was actually there. It tells the person's feelings or point of view about doing the Underground Railroad and escaping. Remember, they told me they were scared and they were worried. And this also is a first-hand account. This means that they were actually there. So now that I know what happened in both texts, I'm going to use my chart to figure out which one is my best answer. So I'm going to look at A. It says provide details of a personal experience. Remember, my answer is only going to be about the second selection. So I just want to check mark on the second selection. Okay? So A says provides detail from the personal experience. So passage 1 is not giving me details about a personal experience. It's actually just giving me facts and information. So there's going to be an X here. But passage 2, which what I want to know, selection 2 is doing that the other one is not, is giving me personal information or personal experience because it says I could have slept better, I was too scared to do this, scared to sleep. So this was a personal experience. So right now I have how they're different. Passage 1 has something that passage 2 does not have something that passage 1 has. Then B says gives information about history. Well, if I look here, this one does give me information about history. That is the purpose. But is the purpose of this passage for number 2 to give me information about history? No, its purpose is to give me their personal experience. So this one is wrong because this is not true about paragraph 2. So when I look at this, the only thing that has something true about paragraph 2 is answer choice A. Passage 2 tells me a personal experience, while passage 1 does not. So my best answer is going to be A. So remember, when we are looking over our answer choices, we want to think, what is happening in the passage? What is happening in both passages? We want to understand what is happening in the question. What is the question asking us for? Is it asking for something that is the same or different? And then we use our check mark boxes. Remember, we only use check marks if the statements are true. And because the only check mark that is here that is true is on passage 2, which was for A, then that is our best answer. Remember, we can always use our Venn diagram to help us as well. All right? Bye.